Hey, how's it going? This is Rob Morris from Simplus, an Infosys company, and here to tell you a little bit about my background. I've been in sales leadership for over 15 years, worked at multiple Salesforce implementation and consulting firms, running their inside sales BDR type team. My team typically had a large number of prospects to call on, somewhere between 500,000 and a million prospects in total that we were trying to call on at multiple companies, from small, medium-sized businesses all the way up to Fortune 500 companies, trying to find them for Salesforce services. And one of my biggest challenges was being able to figure out which companies are the right companies to target and when, and then also who at those companies are the right people to target. And was something that we never had in all of the tools that we had. And we spend a lot of money on sales tech with sales enablement tools, sales engagement tools, calling platforms like dialing platforms, multi-line dialers. And none of those tools could give me a predictive model that would give me the ability to know who to call when. And that's what I've always wanted in over 15 years. And so when I heard about Acuity and what they could do, that's what allowed me to kind of see this firsthand, is that they could do an account-based prioritization and take that down to the existing lead and contact level and make it so that I could prioritize all of those on the same track with the exact same cadence that I wanted to see, number of calls, exact calling patterns, whatever the case may be. I could program that and have my team execute that and be able to see which one of my team members are actually executing against that, which ones aren't. All of that was hugely important for what I was looking to do. Gave me a consistent territory coverage that I never was able to know if it was happening before, because with all the sales engagement tools, all they do is give you the ability to put anybody on a sequence, but I don't know who's exactly being put on a sequence, what titles, make sure that the title paths that I want to be called are being put into those sequences. I also wasn't able to see who, what, when, where, or why, right? You don't know the whole behind it. It's just, we have to program it. We have to decide who we're going to do it. So it's left up to the rep, the individual rep, to do that. And each rep obviously works differently and does things differently. What Acuity did is allowed us to implement something that would allow them that prioritization and cadence and the ability to make sure that they executed against that cadence without changing much of their actual workflow. So they were able to still do things the way that they were used to doing them, but now just with somebody telling them, okay, target these ones first. So that was the big difference for us with Acuity. That was the solution that we were looking for, and that's the solution they did it. So what they did is they came in and they built a model based on our past experiences. They took all of our past data that was in Salesforce, built out a model based on that to see who the best people were. Then we took and validated that model to make sure that it was correct and seemed like everything was working properly. And then we implement that into a predictive model, which then helped us to target our top 5% of those, 500,000 contacts that we were trying to reach out to, make sure we were reaching out to the right ones with a pattern that made sense, that we would actually get them on the phone. Most of our stuff is cold calling, but also with cold emailing, getting us the right people to call. And so that's what Acuity really brought for us. That was a big differentiator. Their consulting services, also I'll probably mention, they have a PhD that's the one doing all of this consulting. So somebody that knows data science and knows how things are supposed to move, you could evaluate the patterns and see exactly what was there. That was a huge benefit for us. One of the reasons we chose Acuity was because of that acumen that they have. And being able to run it against 90,000 different scenarios to see how this predictive model would work, to find the best one and then implement that one so that we could then execute against that. So another unique challenge was just figuring out, the who, what, when, where, and why. And what they did is give us this proactive guidance. So each rep, I could have them start up from a beginning rep that was brand new on my team to an experienced rep. They could both get this proactive guidance of who's the next best person to call, who's the one that they should reach out to right now to be able to get what they needed to get. And so for us, that was a game changer. No other product that we can see in the marketplace, even to this day, I have seen anything that comes even close to being able to provide a next best action ability that's based on data and science, not based on somebody's gut. which is what we've always been going based on, whether it was my gut or the rep's gut. It's always been based on gut instead of science. And this made it based on science. And that science was accurate. We were able to deliver the right quality of opportunities, which is the goal that we were going for, at the right time because of this predictive model based on looking at all of our historical data and then analyzing that and putting it into a process that was easy to implement. Their solution and their software made it so that it's very clear this is the next best person you should call based on the account, based on the contact, based on everything that we needed in order to know who the next right person was. Our final challenge was around territory coverage and making sure that we weren't overhitting the same accounts multiple times and then ignoring other accounts, which was what was happening because reps just got to choose kind of where they would focus their efforts on their own. What Acuity brought to us is the ability to have the same type of precision and persistence into the accounts that we wanted to get into, but also being able to make sure that we were hitting all of the accounts we wanted to hit, not just the ones the rep felt like focusing on, or even just through the complexity of the number of people that they were calling on, they might just miss something. With Acuity, it pops it up in the next best action so that they make sure that the coverage is consistent, persistent, and effective. Best part about working with Acuity is that these guys are real sales professionals that have been doing this for a long time that actually found a challenge that was a challenge for them and solved it for other people. And their customer service is just above and beyond. They go in, figure out exactly what you need, and then execute against that. Not trying to just push what they think is right because they know that's not the solution for everybody. But they have a solution that works for what a problem that all of us had and a challenge that all sales leaders are trying to solve for. They went and solved that problem, and then they can customize it to make sure it fits what you need. And they're very adaptable and consultative and being able to give you the answers that you need to know that this is the solution that's going to work for you.